Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully, everyone has had a fantastic Thursday. I am your host for your South Carolina weather, Jesse Peterson, and we are about to go on and get started with your weather for today. Yeah, okay. Something seems to be going on. Something seems to be going on with my frames. I don't know what's going on. If the stream does pause, just know it will be back up. So if it does pause for just a brief moment, just give it a second. It's nothing on your end, most likely. So just wait and watch for that. But we're gonna go on and start recording. So just in case if something does freak out, we'll be at least into it. Good Thursday evening, South Carolina weather watchers. Hopefully everyone has had a fantastic Thursday. I'm your host for South Carolina weather, Jesse Peterson, and let's talk about the weather for your Thursday evening going into your future. Looking at the radar right now, we do have some rain that's going on up here in Florence, Dillon, South Carolina, Manning, Orangeburg, Manning, I already said Manning, Sumter, Barnwell, Allendale. Also up here in Greenville, Union, as well. Chester also having some rain right now, even up there inside of Pickens, South Carolina. We do have some rain all the way up there in Walhalla. We do have some flash flood warnings in effect, a bunch of flash flood warnings just clumped all on each other. We do have an observed risk. Radar and gauge indicated considerable over here for Lawrence County in the upstate of South Carolina right now. 3 to 5 inches of rain has already fallen, and another 1 to 2 inches per hour are possible, or sorry, is expected. It is expected, and another 1 to 2 inches are possible in the warned area. So around another hour or so of just rain, pretty much life-threatening flash flooding. You gotta watch out for this as life-threatening flash flooding, thunderstorms producing flash flooding, and this from radar and automated gauges. Turn around, don't drown when encountering flooded roads as well. And that's for pretty much most of the upstate. I mean, you have that high risk of excessive rainfall. It's usually most likely what you expect. Here is our MRMS right here. You can see that we do have some rain going on up here inside of Washington, as well as if you look for the entire western and central U.S. Look at this, just nice conditions. Not really much to talk about here. Going to Maine and like places like Massachusetts, New Hampshire, Vermont, and places like that. Also, you have some flooding going on for some flood watches up for places like Tennessee, Kentucky, Virginia, North Carolina as well. And you can obviously see here goes Hurricane Helene and 140 mile per hour storm with gusts, if I was to guess, probably like 170, 80, 180 maybe even at the max, and it is pushing up into Perry, Florida. Let's see, Perry, Florida, St. Mark's, Florida, and then some other areas as well. Not really too much of a populated area, and yeah, not really too much of a populated area, but if I was in probably the most populated area that it will go through while it's this strong is probably Perry, Florida. So hopefully, especially with the storm surge as well, hopefully the people have evacuated from there. And hurricane warnings that go all the way just to the south of Atlanta. And we obviously have tornado watches up for us as well, as we are receiving the dirty side of the storm. But we'll talk about more about that in just a little bit. Let's talk about cloud cover. Cloud cover right now seems to be pretty, honestly, not really much. Really just some cloud cover going on for the entire state. And if you go into the future for cloud cover, as you push this forward, cloud cover will continue even as we get through the entire 18 or so hours. Here's our current temperature: 73 inside Columbia, 77 in Charleston, 77 in Myrtle Beach, 73 in Florence, Sumter, as well as 71 in Rock Hill, 71 in Greenville and Anderson, as well as 79 inside of Savannah, 79 in Beaufort, as well as 75 in Moncks Corner. Here is our low temperatures for tonight. Low temperatures around 73 in Columbia, 77 inside of Charleston, as well as 75 inside of Moncks Corner, 75 inside of Georgetown, 77 in Myrtle Beach, 74 inside Dillon and Florence and Sumter, as well as 73 Girard, Camden, 70 inside of Winsboro, Rock Hill, and Newberry and Greenwood, as well as Lawrence and Spartanburg, 69 inside of Greenville and Anderson. That is that. Here's our forecast precipitation for the next 24 or so hours. You can see right here pretty much that really the rain's going to be up there inside the upstate, around 4 to 6 inches of rain possible inside of Greenville. Maybe even 3 to 4 inches possible in Spartanburg, Lawrence, Greenwood, and Anderson as well. 2 to 3 inches possible inside of Aiken, Newberry, and Rock Hills. Maybe even 1.5 to 2 inches in Barnwell, actually Columbia as well. Maybe an inch to an inch and a half in Orangeburg, Chirac, and Florence, Dillon, half an inch to an inch possible inside of Walterboro, Hilton Head Island, Georgetown, King Street, maybe even an inch to an inch to an inch and a half possible in Myrtle Beach and Moncks Corner. Half an inch to an inch also possible inside of Charleston. So, again, an inch, everyone's going to see more than an inch from now until tomorrow for sure. Here's our SPC outlook. Alert from your phone, especially if you're in the low country of South Carolina and the PD region, maybe even the Midlands as well, going all the way up into the upstate. The only place that's not under a tornado watch, almost the entire state of South Carolina is under a tornado watch. And we were just talking about the other day, not even the other day, I think yesterday, we were talking about how the entire state of South Carolina was in a tropical storm warning. Now almost the entire state is in a tornado watch. That's just, again, telling you how big the storm is, to where it's going to impact pretty much everybody, even going to North Carolina as well. North Carolina, not really expect to see the windiness part, but definitely still could see a tornado threat with this as well. And, you can see here is the 4-panel thing. Again, here's the tornado threat right here. 10% risk for tornadoes, low country, South Carolina, PD region, and the southern Midlands, and then a 5% risk inside the brown that goes all the way from Columbia all the way up into Greenville, Spartanburg, and then maybe even a risk for some isolated tornadoes, or a 2% risk of tornadoes for the upstate of South Carolina. So everyone in South Carolina does have a chance of receiving tornadoes, but not everyone's put inside the tornado watch. And then as you go into day one for wind, we have a 5% risk for some wind gusts of up to 40 to 50, and then maybe even isolated 60 to 70 mile per hour is possible throughout mainly, honestly, most of the state, but I think that that's kind of expected. You can even go into tomorrow as well, where it's not really too much of a wind threat. Again, just another tornado threat. 2% risk that goes all the way from Dorchester County all the way up into to Gaffney, South Carolina. Then a 5% risk that goes into eastern Berkeley, eastern Charleston, all the way up towards Rock Hill and Florence and places like that, Sumter. And then a 10% risk that covers, again, like places like the entire county of Horry County, eastern Georgetown County, and as well as like Dillon, South Carolina as well. So that's pretty much all that is right there. If we go into day 3, let's go into Saturday. Nothing for Saturday. It's going to be, honestly, no thunderstorms are expected on Saturday. It could be a nice Saturday. We're going to have to watch and see what happens, but it could shape up to be a nice Saturday. Here's our excessive rainfall outlook for the next couple of days. Here's day 1 right here. Day 1, we talked about this morning, but high risk is in effect for the upstate of South Carolina. That means life-threatening flash flooding is possible, even as you go through tonight. As you go into tomorrow, from 12 a.m. to 12 a.m. on Saturday. We do have another moderate risk that goes up there for the very northern tip of South Carolina, yellow, that goes into Greenville and Spartanburg, and then a little marginal that goes just to the south of that into places like the PD region of South Carolina. Nothing for Saturday, nothing for Sunday, and nothing for Monday either. So, going to be a nice weekend in terms of just thunderstorm activity and excessive rainfall. Let's go on and talk about the future. We're going to show the HRRR real fast, and we're going to go straight over to the 18Z. We're going to talk about not total precipitation, but composite reflectivity real fast. You can see over here that as we push this forward and we go to around 9 o'clock p.m., you can see it's starting to clear up a little bit, but that's definitely not going to be the end. Even as you go into around 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, look at these, just look at all of these downpours and all of these thunderstorms starting to make it into the low country of South Carolina. These are guaranteed gonna be gonna try to do something tornado wise. Again, that's why we have that 10% risk out, because this will again certainly be rotating, because obviously it's a part of a tropical system. They always rotate, and so this will definitely be rotating. Do not be surprised, especially if you're in the low country of South Carolina, even going into the PD region of South Carolina around 5, 6, 7 o'clock, even 8 o'clock in the morning, that you are waking up by a tornado warning, because it's definitely not impossible, and it's definitely probably likely, to be honest, because the tornado watch does say several tornadoes are likely to occur going into tonight. And not tornadoes just like tornado warnings, like tornadoes in general. Several tornadoes are likely as you go into tonight. And so, gotta be watching out for that. And then I just want to show you this. Look at 8 o'clock. So we have our little tornado threat going up there for PD region of South Carolina. There goes the eye of the storm, bringing just probably heavy tropical storm force conditions into the upstate of South Carolina around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning, while the low country in the PD region gets their little tornado threat. And then look at 12 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. 12 o'clock p.m. tomorrow, a couple of showers, but other than that, we're pretty much cleared out. Look at this, going into around 5 o'clock p.m. tomorrow. A couple of showers maybe inside the upstate, but other than that, we're looking good. Even going into around 10 o'clock p.m. tomorrow, it's still looking good. So it's going to be, I think, a nice end, even though, you may have a couple of, maybe some breezy conditions, because you still do have a hurricane or a tropical storm that's right next to you. But definitely, it's going to be calm. It's definitely going to be calm. And then as you go into Saturday, pretty much some showers, some pretty repetitive rain is going to be possible up there for the very northern tip, or the very tip up there in the upstate going into your Saturday. So we're going to have to watch out for that and see how much rain totals that puts up. Let's go on and talk about Helene and just all of the tropics in general. We'll talk about Helene, we'll talk about Isaac, and then we'll talk about Disturbance 1 and Disturbance 2 down here to our south. So here's Helene right here. Right now, it is, I believe, a 130 mile per hour storm. Let's see. Yes, 130 miles per hour. Hurricane conditions are pushing through and making it into Florida. And it will stay a hurricane all the way into Georgia as well. This will continue. You can see everyone in the state of South Carolina under a tropical storm warning as well. And then hurricane warnings going all the way up just to the south of Atlanta. Here's our rainfall right here. Rainfall, again, most of it being inside the upstate of South Carolina. Wind speed probabilities. This is actually something that I'm honestly kind of shocked to see, because you can see if you look at the very western tip of South Carolina, this is the probability of seeing tropical storm force winds. It's making it all the way into like the very the South Carolina North Carolina border, even on the PD side as well, even though it's only a 5 to 10%. I do think that we will start to see our tropical storm force wind speed probability start to go up a little bit more. And then here's the 50 knot as well. Again, this is like very strong tropical storm right here. Not really too much of a chance. And then hurricane, definitely not even close. We will not really receive a threat in terms of hurricane force. So that's pretty much that. Arrival time of winds tonight seems to be around like 12 o'clock in the morning, going into around 2, 3 o'clock is when we're going to start receiving those winds. And speaking of winds, let's go on and just show the wind speed. Let's check out the max wind speeds and see what's going on in terms of the max wind speed for people's locations as we go into the next night or so. So we're going to move on. We're just going to click on over here. Let's go up here to Greenville. Real quick. We're going to check out Greenville's winds. We're going to check out everyone's wind, but we're just going to use Greenville as an example. We're going to go down all the way into Saturday, and we're going to check out the max winds. So you can check it out right here. You can see that Greenville max winds around 64 miles an hour. Now, this is just one model. Columbia, it says around 63. Charleston, around 67. Maybe up there towards Augusta. I think it was around like 80 to 90 miles per hour. So definitely something that you're going to have to watch for, especially in Augusta. Greenwood, 60 to 70. Same thing, Anderson, 70. Spartanburg, around 60 to 70. Same thing with Rock Hill. The lowest winds will probably be over here towards Myrtle Beach, where it's only around 55 to 60, but that is still strong. That is still strong. And you can check out, that's the icon. If you go to the GFS right now, it says around 60 to 70-ish, 65, 70-ish going to Greenwood. Greenville around 68, Columbia around 70, Charleston are around 67, Centerville around 60, Myrtle Beach it says 60, Florence it says around 55. And then if you go to the GEM probably the weakest out of all of them, with Greenville around 55, and then just a couple, just like Augusta, 60, but the strongest one, definitely the icon, with having these strong hurricane force wind gusts getting into Augusta. So, gonna have to watch out for those winds tonight. You probably might get waken up by it tonight. It's possible. Like I said, wind, tornadoes, heavy rain is all on the table, and all has the possibility of waking you up tonight. So, again, like I said, do not be surprised one bit. And this will continue even as you go into around Friday morning as well. So that's pretty much all that is right there. Let's go on and talk about Isaac. You can see Isaac up here. Not really coming towards us at all. It will become a hurricane. It will become a hurricane early Saturday morning at around 2 o'clock in the morning, but it is going far away. Not wanting to do anything with us right now, so it's going. And then we have disturbance 1 down here. Showers and thunderstorms associated with the area of low pressure. Located about 1,000 miles west of the Cabo Verde Islands. Continue to show signs of organization. Recent satellite imagery suggests that the system does not yet have a well-defined surface circulation. However, environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for further development. A tropical depression is expected to form tonight or on Friday, while the disturbance moves generally westward to west-northwestward at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So, right now, I think that this thing is not really going to impact us. I think it's going to kind of curve up. But we'll continue to watch out for it. Disturbance 2. This is the same thing that Helene's forecast, or Helene's disturbance, was just like this. Pretty much almost a picture-perfect area of what Helene went through. So there seems to be like there could be another storm that's trying to pop off. And could it do another Helene? We have no idea. But right now it says an area of low pressure could form over the western Caribbean Sea by the middle of next week. Environmental conditions are expected to be conducive for slow development thereafter, while the system moves generally northwestward. So right now, no chance over the next 48 hours, but a 20% chance over the next 7 days. And we will be watching this because it has a possibility. It has a possibility. Let's go on and talk about the future real quick. So let me just show you that real quick. Let's go on and talk about the future. So we're going to move on up over here towards the southeast. And let's go on and get this started. Starting off today, you can see that obviously Helene's moving through. And then it's going to kind of stall out in Kentucky, weaken to just a regular low pressure, and then going to work its way off the eastern coast, bringing some more rain to North Carolina, Virginia, North Carolina, and all these places as well. It's just going to move its way off. There goes the area that we're watching down here in the Atlantic, as is, yeah. This is over 200 hours out, but it has a landfall in Florida, and then it wants to try and make another landfall. So this is just crazy, but it makes a landfall in Tampa, turns around, tries to make a landfall in Jacksonville, and then just moves its way over. So that's not going to happen at all. It's going to be very different from that. but it's going to head on out, and that's, again, just over 300 hours out. So I'm not going to talk about that at all just yet, or I'm going to wait for that to get a little bit further into the future. But after Helene, the only thing that I'm really watching for probably is just this storm system right here. October the 3rd, October the 4th is around the time frame for this, so early October-ish, which is why we have that area down there. But that's pretty much it for this regular forecast right here for right now. Let's go on and talk with the audience. If you want to be a part of the audience, you can by joining us at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time. Let's see what the audience has to say. So moving this on over here. Let's move to here. Mr. Anthony does say, let's move this up. Good evening, JP. Good evening to you. Good evening to you, on Cheryl as well. Tolliver says, good evening. Some rain at my house today. When are the wind gusts supposed to start? Like honestly, in around an hour or two or so is when it's probably going to start getting a bit breathier outside. Like if you was to step outside and around at an hour or two, you probably would start to be like, okay, well, it's starting to get a bit breezy out there. But the one where you might actually start to hear it is probably going to be around like early morning, like 2, 3, 4, even 5 o'clock in the morning, and that will last until around 8 o'clock in the morning as well. Trail says, greetings, birthday, young man, thank you so much. And then that says, good evening, Joseph, happy birthday, love you, man. Thank you so much for your comment, and thank you so much for wishing me a happy birthday. Mr. Anthony does say happy birthday, thank you. That says, how wide is this storm? I'm not quite sure exactly how wide, but you can see here just how big the wind field is on it. Right here, there's Helene right here. It stretches pretty much all the way from like the southeastern tip of Alabama all the way down into southern Florida. So it covers pretty much almost the entire state of Florida. That's how big this storm is, and that's not even including the rain. That's just the wind field. The rain is probably going all the way up into like North Carolina, Tennessee, maybe even up into Virginia as well. And that's the rain right there. So that's not including really like the wind either. Let's continue talking real quick. My cousin Cheryl does say, good evening, weatherman. Know that I'm listening. Keep up the good work. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. How much rain will we be getting in Philly? Love you, cousin Cheryl. We'll talk about that in just a second. We'll talk about that before San Antonio and Raleigh. Confucia does say, we're at 3.7 inches of rain for Belton, South Carolina since 8 p.m. last night, according to my rain gauge. It's all soaked right into the ground, not a puddle to be seen. We need it, and happy birthday. Thank you so much for that. And I'm glad that y'all getting the rain, because I know that the upstate of South Carolina was in a drought. Speaking of drought, the drought monitor just came out today, and it honestly, not really too much has changed, except for the drought did expand a little bit. I do believe that it will most likely shrink now, obviously due to the storm and the potential for some life-threatening flash flooding. I think that the drought will get knocked out, kind of like how Debbie knocked it out. You remember we had a pretty big drought in South Carolina, like a really big one, extreme to exceptional, and Debbie came in and just completely knocked it out, and we had no more drought anymore, but obviously some flash flooding conditions were still there. So yes, the D2 drought goes all the way from the upstate down into like Augusta, Aiken County, I should say, and then the D1 goes all the way from the upstate down towards Dorchester, Colleton, and I believe that's Jasper County as well, going to like Orangeburg, Columbia, and as well as going into like some other counties as well. Continuing, Trail says, waking me up tonight. It will. It possibly could. It possibly could. Miss Chevy says, hey, happy birthday. Thank you so much. And then Vina does say, happy birthday. Thank you so much for everyone that's been wishing me a happy birthday. Thank you so much for that. And I don't see any other comments. Let me refresh real quick. So, yeah, nothing yet. So I'm going to go on. We're going to talk about San Antonio, then we're going to talk about Raleigh, and then After that, we will check with the audience one more time, see if we have any more questions after that. And if we don't, well, then we will be out of here for tonight. So moving down here towards San Antonio, I'm so sorry. I forgot. We have to go over here to Philadelphia first because you did talk about the rain. In terms of rain, you said, how much rain will we be getting in Philly? Talking about the exact total. Let's move it all the way through to Saturday afternoon. If we go all the way to Saturday afternoon in Philadelphia, around 7/10 to maybe an inch. I'd say around half an inch to an inch is possible. Just determines on where you are. But all around Philly, the totals are going to be different. But you can get as much as 1 inch to maybe even 1.5 inches, and you could just receive around 7/10 of an inch. Somewhere in between half an inch to maybe 1.5 inches are possible as you go through like the next 48 or so hours. So not really much at the same time. It's not going to be like a flash flooding threat, but it will be around an inch in around 48 or so hours. So that's how much rain you'll see up there in Philadelphia. As you go up into down to San Antonio, let's check it out and see what's going on in terms of rain. In terms of rain, honestly, San Antonio seems to be left out. You can see you have all this rain going on to your east in like Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina, obviously, and y'all are dry. Same thing with Louisiana, and even Mississippi is receiving some rain as well. As you go into temperatures as well, if you go through to our temperature map right here, let's wait for this right here to load up real quick. Let's check out the like button. Let's see how many likes we got. We have around, seems like everyone has hit the like button. But if you haven't yet, make sure that you go on and do that. But going into low temperatures tonight seems to be around 63-ish tonight. High temperatures tomorrow seems to be around 91. Low temperatures tomorrow night at around 66. High temperatures going to around 89, 90-ish going into your Saturday. As you move over here to Raleigh, North Carolina, real quick. Move up here. Low temperatures tonight for Raleigh seems to be around 73-ish. High temperatures tomorrow at around 82. Low temperatures tomorrow night at around 64. High temperatures going to around 77. And obviously you will be impacted. By Helene for sure. Definitely will receive some rain. This is probably what it looks like right about now. And I mean, rain, scattered showers, scattered storms will push through. And I do believe you have a tornado threat for tomorrow as well. And I believe that this is it. Around 11 a.m. to around 12 o'clock p.m. is your threat for a possible tornado as you go through tomorrow. Nothing for the rest of the night. Maybe some showers, isolated showers around 8 o'clock p.m. But not really much to talk about. And that's pretty much it. In terms of Raleigh, let's go on and talk about some severe weather real quick. And I do see this as well. There was a tornado warning that was just issued for Walterboro, Cottageville, and Jacksonboro, South Carolina as well. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's talk about this severe weather real quick. Going into day one, nothing for San Antonio, but Raleigh does have a minor risk for flooding going into tonight. Tomorrow, Friday, again, another minor risk for flooding for Raleigh. Nothing for September the 28th, nothing for September the 29th, and nothing for September the 30th. So we're good in terms of all that. And like I say, usually, if you don't have any excessive rainfall, you usually don't have severe weather, which would be true for San Antonio, but for Raleigh, not the case, as you have a 5% risk for some tornadoes going into tomorrow. So you're going to have to watch out, again, for that tornado threat. Again, around like 11 a.m., 12 p.m., 1 p.m.-ish, somewhere around there, we're going to have to watch for it. You might get put under a tornado watch as well tomorrow, most likely, because it is a slight risk. But here it is right here. Here is the tornado warning that we were just looking at over here for Walterboro, South Carolina, Cottageville, Round O, South Carolina, going into Jacksonboro, and Adams Run, South Carolina, is in a tornado warning right now. We did have a tornado warning earlier for North Charleston, Hanahan, not too long ago, around maybe an hour or two-ish ago. And also a tornado warning down here for Bluffton, South Carolina, Pritchardville, South Carolina, Limehouse, South Carolina, and Savannah, Georgia. So all these places are under a tornado warning right now, and it is observed as well. It is observed. The tornado down here in Savannah, Georgia, is indeed observed. So if you know anybody in Savannah, Georgia, let them know that a tornado is on the ground and going towards them. Same thing up here in like Walterboro. Even though it's not confirmed, it is still possible that one could start. And you can see all these little showers and downpours right here. These are all capable. So that's pretty much that. I think that's about it. My Nana does say, hello, Jay, happy birthday. Thank you so much. And I think that's going to be about it. We're going to move to we'll do the Charleston radar, because we do have all these tornado warnings over here. Stay weather aware for tornado warnings tonight as we get later into the night as well, as they will continue. We will have more tornado warnings tonight for sure, and you got to make sure that you are paying attention. You got to make sure your phone's charged as well. Make sure you have them turned on to where if a tornado warning is issued, you can receive the alert. Also, we're at 255 subscribers right now, trying to get to 300 by November the 5th, which is, just realized it is election day. So, trying to get to 300 subscribers by 11:59 on election day. So make sure that you hit that share button and hit the subscribe button as well. Also hit the like button so we can go on and get up there so YouTube can push us out. But that's going to be it for tonight. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday. I'll be back tomorrow morning with another forecast update just to make sure nothing else. So it seems to be good for tonight. Everyone have a fantastic rest of your Thursday evening.